To ECCMID TV, where we're bringing you a taste of what's to come at the ECCMID 16 Congress. My name is Michael Jackson. I'll be the proud host of ECCMID Television, which we're running throughout the proceedings as we run through the Congress in Amsterdam later this year. For now, though, what we thought we'd like to do is bring you a taste of what to expect. And I'm delighted to introduce you to Dr. Vincent Young, who's an associate professor at the University of Michigan in the Department of Internal Medicine and the Division of Infectious Diseases. As one of our chosen confirmed faculty for ECCMID, it's a pleasure to have you with us, sir. What can we expect, Dr. Young, from your presentation?
So my presentation at ECCMID will be actually about fecal microbiota transplant. I think enough people have heard about the microbiome and all the research there. And in particular, for the infectious diseases audience, we've heard about people using fecal transplantation to treat patients who have refractory infection with Clostridium difficile.
So what do you think the key takeaways will be from the people who attend your particular lecture, sir?
Sure. Well, there's a couple of things I'll go over. Not everyone is necessarily familiar about the exact ins and outs about the microbiome and studying the indigenous bacteria that live in and on us. So I'm going to spend some time talking about that. But then we'll talk a little bit more about Clostridium difficile infection, and that is something that basically every infectious disease physician encounters nowadays. And I'll review some of the recent clinical advances, and then get into the idea of how the microbiota actually affects patients with Clostridium difficile, and in particular those patients who have refractory disease. That is disease that, even though they have specific antibiotic treatment for C. difficile, have recurrence as soon as that treatment is stopped.
It's a pleasure.
So I'll talk.
Oh, I beg your pardon, sir.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it's an absolute pleasure to have you as a global expert in this field. I was going to ask you if you're really looking forward to attending ECCMID in Amsterdam this year.
I actually am quite looking forward to going to Amsterdam. Being an American, and whenever we go to Europe, and our major carrier always goes into Schiphol Airport. So I've been to Schiphol many a time, but I often don't have the chance to actually leave the airport and see Amsterdam. So this is going to be a special treat for me.
And the chance to mingle with thousands of clinical microbiologists and infectious diseases experts like yourself from around the world. ECCMID is becoming rapidly, if not the European, but perhaps the best global platform for such a gathering, really, isn't it?
That is clear. I was at ECCMID in Berlin a couple of years ago, and I was really impressed about the breadth, not just in terms of the expertise, but the breadth of experience, people coming from all around the world to one site to talk about microbiology and infectious diseases.
And what are you most looking for yourself, sir, not only as a presenter, but as a delegate at ECCMID? What would really push your buttons?
Well, as I said, the chance to actually meet people, because as you go to certain meetings, there's certain people who kind of run the same circuit that you run. And what I found when I went to ECCMID in Berlin is that I met some people that I'd heard about, I'd read their work, but there's something about actually meeting that person in person, going to their poster, going to their trainees poster, having a chance to actually talk to them a little bit off the cuff, as opposed to just hearing what's got filtered through peer review and then made it into the journals and things like that.
As you say, video conferencing or video calling like this is one thing, but the face-to-face involvement is absolutely superb. Those then were the words of Dr. Vincent Young. He's an expert in fecal transplantation, one of the confirmed faculty that you can look forward to meeting with live, as much as he's looking forward to meeting with you at our Congress coming up at ECCMID 16. We'll see you in Amsterdam. Dr. Young, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Michael.